Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be making award-winning homemade chocolate chip cookies. These are very soft and they're very sweet. Everybody really loves them. It makes about 6 to 7 dozen though, so you do need to have several trays ready. First off, preheat your oven to 350 degrees, and then you want to measure out these ingredients. You've got 4.5 cups of all-purpose flour with 2 teaspoons of baking soda. Next to that you have 2 cups of butter, which is 4 sticks of butter. 1.5 cups of packed brown sugar, 1/2 cup of white sugar, 2 packages of instant vanilla pudding, it's the 3.5 ounce ones, 4 eggs, I prefer jumbo in mine, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, 4 cups of semi-sweet chocolate, and if you want to add walnuts you can, 2 cups, though I do not. Now, first off, I want to point out that I did get this recipe from allrecipes.com. It's one of the best places online to get recipes, and most of them are normally shared by other families as well. This one is not my own, it's something I got from there. And so I do have the recipe sitting next to me to help me out with this. First thing we're going to do is cream together our butter, our brown sugar, and our white sugar. We'll use an electric mixer on here. It's just going to be a whole lot easier to do that. I am using margarine, though I have used butter before. Since I'm having to use 4 sticks, and since butter is so expensive now, I prefer to use the margarine, especially for baking. It just seems to work a lot better. Now by cream together, there is a consistency that you're going to see that the butter and the sugar will make. This is pretty standard for most cookie recipes, that you start out by creaming your butter and sugar together. That's the consistency that we're looking for when we cream together the butter. You also want to make sure that your butter is softened. It'll make that go a lot easier. If you start out with it very hard, I'm not sure how far you're going to get. You will eventually get to work, but it's a lot easier this way. Okay, now that that is creamed together, we're going to go ahead and now beat in the instant pudding mix until it is blended well with the mixture. Remember, it's 2 packages of vanilla. I have seen people use butterscotch on this. I've also seen them use chocolate for those who are chocolate freaks. We do like our chocolate, but we prefer it in the chocolate chips. We really like the vanilla taste to come out in our cookies when we make them. These also will allow your cookies to stay softer for much longer than if you didn't use them at all. With that blended in, we now blend in our eggs. This will turn this into a fairly soupy looking mix. With that mixed in, the last thing we want to mix in now is our vanilla before we start adding the flour and the chocolate chips. With everything now mixed in, we're going to give it one good mix around the sides, and then we're going to begin to add in our flour. Now, there's 2 ways to go about doing the flour. Some people add it all in at once, and some people prefer to wait and do a little bit at a time. I like to do just a little bit, like about half of it to begin with, and then go on to what is next. We now add half of our flour and baking soda combination and begin to mix. There's this look that it will get as it mixes correctly. It'll almost snake out of it as it, there it goes. Like that. That's how you know you're starting to get right. But all of it should do that. So if you see some balling up at the bottom like I do see, then we have to continue mixing until it's all together. And with that mixed, we now get to add the chocolate chips. I like to use the small kind, itty bitty size. I just think that it does better in these cookies. I go ahead and add them all at once. And once again mix. And there's our mixture. Now for the fun part, the spoons. Come on. There you go. One for you. One for you. The kids love them. Now with that mixed up, it's time to actually put the cookies onto our cookie sheet. With our cookie sheet, it's best to give it a spray down with some oil first. So that it doesn't stick. Then I use a small spoon to scoop out little dabs about yay big. Here's my first dozen. I do 2 dozen at a time. And of course, don't forget to lick your fingers. We now place these 2 sheets into a 350-degree preheated oven for about 10 minutes, give or take. Really light cooking on them, you're just wanting them to basically flatten out, and that's it. While those 2 are in the oven, it's a good idea to go ahead and get your next 2 sheets taken care of. Once again, I spray them down. With these done up, it's now time to take the other cookies out. We will set them to the side now so that we can continue to load up our cookie trays. I've heard some complaint online about this recipe. They say the cookies are too cake-like when they come out. And they do puff up a little bit. But if you take them out at the right time, they collapse afterwards. And so you end up with all that chocolate cookie taste collapsed in on itself. It's kind of like it's more potent that way. Regardless, you can ask anybody in my family. These are the cookies for us. Hands down, there is no other cookie out there for us. Notice again, some people complain that these are kind of cake-like, and they do puff up initially, as you can see coming out, but then they flatten quite well. So they're not cake-like once it's all said and done. And there we have it, 6 dozen cookies, soft batch chocolate chip cookies, done in about an hour. It does help to have the 4 cookie trays. For more recipes from me, continue to watch these blogs that I put up, and if you would like to showcase one of your personal recipes, please send that recipe to firstnephi, 1st nephi @gmail.com. It should be at the bottom of your screen now. This is a recipe that we've used for over a year in my family. We truly love it, and I hope it's something that you and your family can love as well.